Hello and welcome to another episode of the Tables, Ladders, and Chairs podcast. I'm your host, Eric, joined as always by my co-host, Mike. Mike, how are you tonight?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great as well. We are officially on the road to WrestleMania. This is of course, between this and the Eagles and the Super Bowl, I'm on cloud nine. I had myself a heck of a weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
I can't believe the Rumble. I should have changed. I was going to put it on. I was going to wear my Montreal Canadiens jersey.
Nice. That'd be good. Yeah. For Sami.
To support Mr. Zayne on his great accomplishments now.
Yeah. I only part, and I feel like I'm nitpicking if I complain about this, is I think Sami should have been in the Rumble match.
Yeah. That was
That's
kind of a letdown. Because when we were texting during it, I was shocked he wasn't in the Rumble.
Yeah.
None of the Bloodline were.
No, I kind of thought it was either I thought Sami would be the only one. Right. And if it wasn't Sami, I didn't think any of them would be. Maybe Solo. I could see Solo in it. But yeah, not much in the way of surprises. I mean, I guess they'd say Logan Paul was a surprise, but I don't really think it was.
It was kind of surprising because he did get pretty injured against Roman.
Yeah, that was the only part that had me thinking that he wouldn't be there was his injury.
Yeah. But, I mean, he and Ricochet did have a nice highlight.
That was pretty cool. That was really cool. And it certainly seems like they set up for Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul at WrestleMania.
Which I'm all about.
I am too. I think that'll be a great match.
I think that'll be a great match. And and it's going to be interesting because I thought they were going to set more in the way of the women up for the Rumble, but really, in both Rumble matches, the only big setup was Logan Paul, Seth Rollins.
Right, and so many times, I always use the blueprint to me on how you set up a match for WrestleMania at the Royal Rumble is Shawn Michaels, Kurt Angle.
Yep.
That is how you set it up. That is if they wrote a book on how to set up a match and the storyline at the Royal Rumble for WrestleMania, see Shawn Michaels, Kurt Angle, 2006 or 2005.
4.
Was it 4? I thought it was 5.
Oh no! Yeah, 5. Excuse me.
Yeah,
because 4 was Benoit.
Yeah. The one nobody remembers who won that one.
Weird how history's deleted itself on that one.
I know.
Yeah.
Crazy. It's like he did something or something.
It's just a smidge, yeah.
Yeah. Had a little indiscretion. Yeah. But okay. The Royal Rumble match. The only again, I feel like I'm nitpicking if I complain about it. I think it's probably one of the, if not the best Royal Rumble match ever, at least top 3.
It's got to be. I mean, they had everything in that Rumble.
Yeah.
They had Gunther breaking the record for a regular Royal Rumble.
Which was awesome. I'm really happy for Gunther. I hope that does something for his career.
Right. The one thing that threw me for a curveball is why in both Rumble matches do you have number 1 go the distance?
Yeah, I didn't get that. I didn't think Gunther, I think would have needed it more than Rhea.
Yeah.
I don't think Rhea Ripley needed to come out number 1 and make it all the way to the ends and win it. I would have been perfectly happy with her coming in, I don't know, 11, 12, 17, 28. It wouldn't have mattered.
Do your research and find a number that no one's won from. I think 7's won.
Have her come 7. Yeah, it's so funny because I heard one time someone saying, "Go lucky number 7." That should be a Rumble winner, but nobody's ever won from that spot.
I think Orton did it from 9.
Right. So I know, I guess the biggest ones to win it from are 1 and 30 and 27, obviously.
27's been, but I couldn't tell you the last one who's won from 27.
Yeah, I feel like it's like all of a sudden they realized, oh crap, we've had like 5 winners from the number 27 spot. We
So
should not have that for a while.
right, yeah,
We'll talk about it forever.
yeah, they've just stopped because I guess 30 might have tied 27 now.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because 30, because it's I think 30, 27, and then 1 are the 3 top winners.
Yeah.
I know 2 is 2 of them. 1 has, what is it, Shawn and Edge, and of course Chris Benoit.
Right, and Rhea now.
Yeah, and Rhea.
So.
Yeah, it's funny. I think 7's the only like one of the few numbers that haven't had a winner.
I think 4 and 5 haven't.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
I always feel like anymore like there's a good structure to a good Royal Rumble. You want to have 2 strong guys to start.
Yep.
And then the third guy is usually somebody who gets eliminated pretty quickly.
Yep.
And then, after that, you kind of go through a little lull where you build up guys into the ring. And then I'd say around 8 or 9, you want one of your monsters to come out there, clear out the ring.
Yeah.
And then another monster to eliminate first monster. Like it's like they have a good structure. And I really feel like this Royal Rumble kind of threw a monkey wrench in it in a really good way.
It really did because they kind of did that because they started out with Gunther and Sheamus.
Mm-hmm.
Then I think 8 or 9 was McIntyre. He was in early.
Right. Yeah, I think it was 9.
Because Lesnar came in at 12, started clearing the ring, and then Lashley came and knocked him out.
Yeah. So it's like that was your structure of a Royal Rumble match. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, but it wasn't the whole ring cleared. It was nice because they kept most of the guys in. He eliminated some of the who was it? Chad Gable. Lesnar eliminated 3 guys in like less than 2 minutes, but it was no one of really importance.
Yeah, I really feel like they did a really good job of how to appropriately do a Rumble match. And you only set up one match, but like a lot of times that's what you get. Like I still do think they should set up more matches through the Royal Rumble for WrestleMania.
Yeah.
But again, I feel like I'm getting nitpicky if I complain about that too much.
Right. And I think now with the Chamber pay-per-view, they try to build a little bit up for that, which I think they really have.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to use the Chamber also to build up WrestleMania too.
And I'll find it interesting, especially what they do next year, because I know they're basically trying to eliminate all of the gimmick pay-per-views aside from Rumble and Survivor Series.
Right.
So I wonder if we'll still have Elimination Chamber next year.
I think they might.
I do feel like that's one that that works, and that works there.
I think really what they need to keep are, I'd say, the Classic 4 that we've had forever. And I think you need to keep Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank and Elimination Chamber, yeah.
Elimination Chamber. And then the other ones you can rebrand, you can make different pay-per-views. You can bring back maybe King of the Ring for people.
I would enjoy that. And I would enjoy December Starrcade.
Yes.
Like, would it kill them to just put WWE Starrcade?
I really don't think it would be.
Like, and you could put it in like Atlanta or Charlotte or somewhere like that. Yeah, like any of those places, and just a good WCW territory area for the first one back.
Yeah.
And then you can move it all around after that. That's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, but no, I agree. Put it in one of WCW's big homes
Mm-hmm.
and pay homage to it. I
Yeah,
would I would bring back obviously Flair. I would contact Tony Khan, say, hey, can Arn Anderson make an appearance for the first start?
right. Yeah, and I feel like they could work something out.
I think they could for that. And just bring that old school NWA WCW feeling. Rock and Roll Express could
And the
come.
main event should be a steel cage match,
Yeah,
the World Championship.
main event steel cage match. Um, and I think also in homage to those promotions, you'd
Mm-hmm.
have a big tag team match too.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
Like, I mean, the Usos and the New Day, those guys do a great job every time they work together. Like, I would love to see them just work together.
yeah. Me too. And
Like,
I have a hunch the New Day is going to lose the NXT tag titles this weekend.
yeah, I think so too. I want to get into some of the Vengeance Day.
Yeah,
But I want to finish with our Royal Rumble talk first, or get into the Elimination Chamber. Um, Obviously, the biggest thing of the night, and we both kind of speculated when we saw that the championship match was going on last, was this had to be Sami Zayn turning on Roman.
yeah.
He did after the match, and I'm wondering if we might be ready to get that splintered bloodline, considering Jey Uso's response.
I'm wondering what they're going to do. Is Jay going to walk away officially? I mean, he said he did online, but however, what are they going to do with the tag titles now?
Right, because I mean, Jimmy and Jay are the tag champs of both brands, and
You got to somehow rope it together
yeah, I
because they
mean, I guess they could have Solo fill in for him at least temporarily.
right. That's what I was thinking. Do they make it Jimmy and Solo the tag champs for a little bit?
And then you could have like a Jay come back, and then it's like, wait, I'm a tag team champion, and then there's like a little butting heads between Jimmy and Jay, maybe.
Right. And do you have Jay and Sammy challenge?
Oh, dude, this-
Really put a monkey
Jimmy
wrench in the bloodline?
and Solo versus Jay and Sammy. The winner is the undisputed tag team champions.
Yeah. Do they do it that way?
That would be pretty sweet.
I don't know. They've got a
Hey,
lot to do.
Sean.
Hi.
So,
Yeah, definitely. Interesting ideas. And
yes.
like, I mean, I know we speculated on the idea of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn teaming up against the Usos, and we still might get that.
Right. We still might get that one. So,
But that's an interesting idea. Sammy and Jay
Solo.
versus Jimmy and Solo. That would
Right.
be a great way to do that.
Right. When we just started talking about what are they going to do, that just popped into my head because I thought it was going to be the Usos against KO and Sammy for a long
Right.
time. But
It could be a great way to pay off that rivalry with something a little different than the usual, like either Sammy going after the title or the Sammy and KO versus the Usos. It would be a nice twist on it.
that
And we have Kevin to do something else at Mania too, if you wanted him to.
And then the other thing is at Elimination Chamber, we all know it's Sammy against Roman. That's the way they built this up. Do they make it for the title, or is it that big they don't have to put the title?
I don't think they have to. I think they should.
I think they should, but
Yeah.
creatively thinking, do they not make it for the title and let Sammy pin Roman in a non-title match?
Yeah. It's funny because as much as it's been speculated that the WWE could try to split the belts, logistically, it would make sense if they were to do that, to have Sami win one of the titles at Elimination Chamber,
Right.
and then just defend the other one against
Cody.
Cody at WrestleMania.
Right. Or do they have Roman do both nights at Mania?
Or do they have Roman then defend against The Rock if The Rock were to come back and challenge? Now, I know he's not. I know it's been basically all but confirmed that he's out.
And you know what? I'm thankful for that.
Yeah, I'm thankful they didn't tease us with that for a long time. Like, it wasn't like,
right.
Yeah, I know. Like, basically, it's been 2 years of them saying, "Oh, when they go to Los Angeles, it's going to be Roman Reigns and The Rock." But like, that was never like an official thing. That was just something like some blogger took and ran with.
Right.
And like, people speculate on that kind of stuff all the time. Like, how many years did we have rumored of Undertaker Sting at WrestleMania?
I lost count.
Yeah, I think it was like pretty much every year from the time WCW was bought by WWE until Sting retired. It was somehow rumored that they were going to do that.
Yeah, it was.
Even when Sting was under contract and under a multi-year deal, maybe even as TNA World Champion.
Yeah. I mean, Sting was the TNA champion, and they always would say, "Oh yeah, how about he's not coming?" And then that one year that they did the was it like 2 or 3? It was that one year that they aired those black boots on the vignettes.
Oh yeah,
and everyone was saying, "Oh, is that Sting? Sting finally coming?" But it was just Undertaker came back. Like, right. I remember that year, everyone was talking about it. Oh, it might be Sting coming finally. So,
yeah, and then when Sting does finally come, it's like, he comes and faces Triple H, and then Triple H inexplicably wins.
That's one thing I will never understand is the WWE Sting run.
Yeah.
They bring him in, they have him lose to Triple H at WrestleMania, and then he wrestles that match against Rollins, injures himself, and they tell him he's got to retire. But then he goes to AEW, and he's maybe his second best run.
Yeah, I would say it's ahead of the TNA run.
Yeah, it might even be ahead of the TNA run at this point.
I will say, as far as like it being impressive, considering at his age and what his body's been through, I would consider it more impressive.
Yeah, it's been fantastic.
Yeah, as far as bell to bell stuff, WCW is the number one run, and number two is probably TNA, just bell to bell.
Yeah.
But all the character stuff, I would say that AEW is his second best run.
Yeah, it's been really good for him.
Yeah, I didn't understand like bringing Sting in and not having him talk at all. Like, I mean, okay, like I guess that was his whole Crow gimmick when he was in WCW, but like he had evolved past that.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't need the the silent Stinger anymore.
No, you needed him to talk, and you needed him to.
And then when he did talk, it was like very like, I don't know, he didn't say anything.
No, it was weird, his WWE run.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't get it. I did not understand. And then the NWO coming out for him, like anybody who watched that product knows the NWO was never on the side of Sting.
Right. It was just weird because Sting fought the NWO all the time, unless he wasn't
the Wolfpack thing, but
in the Wolfpack, but he was never in the black and white NWO.
No, he never. Like, the only time he ever donned the shirt was as a Duke to him.
Right. Yeah. Other than that, I mean, it was kind of weird how they had the NWO, but
yeah.
I guess they wanted that NWO DX moment.
Sure. But again, that to me would say, okay, you should have had Sting versus The Undertaker that year at WrestleMania. We didn't, as much as I'm trying to think of the good, like, we didn't really need, I guess we really didn't need Undertaker Roman Reigns. I mean, I know the This Is My Yard thing, like, that was, I guess, a big moment for Roman, but, like, it didn't do what they wanted it to do.
That match was horrible.
Yeah. But I'm saying, like, as far as, like, okay, you could have had Sting and Undertaker at WrestleMania 31. You could have still had Undertaker and, well, Shane McMahon. That's one you don't really need.
Right.
Undertaker versus Bray Wyatt. Well, Bray Wyatt was injured at 32.
Right.
So you could have done. Well, so was Cena. So shoot, I couldn't have done that then either.
Right, because wasn't Undertaker, Bray Wyatt, WrestleMania 31?
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you wanted to, like, pushing him back, it would have been great to have, Undertaker Sting at 31, assuming he had stayed healthy, Undertaker, Bray Wyatt at 32.
Yeah. It would have all worked, but
yeah,
for some reason we got Sting and Triple H.
I felt like it was an ego thing for Triple H. Like, he wanted to make sure he was booked at WrestleMania. This is what made sense. So he just went with that.
And the thing is, I kind of get the Triple H Sting match because they both were stalwarts for their company.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unless you consider the Terror Rising days, but not too many people actually remember them.
Yeah. I mean, look, he was there for a year.
Yeah.
And then jumped ship straight to WWE.
Yeah. And then took off.
Yeah.
It would be great if Undertaker and Sting had a match.
Right. That's what we were talking about, how they never had a match at WrestleMania.
And it's funny, like, two of the all-time dream matches that come to mind that never really happened were Undertaker Sting, Bret Hart, and Hulk Hogan.
Yes. Yeah,
like,
Hart and Hogan would have been good.
That really got botched by WCW. The fact that you had Bret Hart coming in with all that heat after Vince McMahon and the Montreal Screwjob. Like, I understand you had Sting and Hogan lined up for Starrcade, and you had to absolutely have that match. But after that match, how do you not the next night Bret Hart challenges Hulk Hogan for Sold Out or for Super Brawl?
I really don't know. And I could get maybe not Sold Out, but definitely Super Brawl, because Super Brawl was one of their...
Yeah, that was like one of their big ones. Yeah.
It was one of their big ones. Super Brawl, Starrcade, Halloween Havoc.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought Great American Bash, but then Bash at the Beach kind of took that over.
Yeah, I would put those two kind of in the same category. Like, I feel like, yeah, in the 80s, Great American Bash was the big event. By the mid-90s, Bash at the Beach was the bigger premier event.
Right, because of the NWO.
Right, yeah, because of Hogan turning, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, didn't he? Well, I guess it was called Beach Blast when Hogan won the title from Flair, right?
No, Beach Blast. The Beach Blast was only 92, 93.
Okay, so it was Bash at the
Beach.
Okay, yeah. Oh, so yeah, and that definitely surpassed Great American Bash with those two events itself, Hogan and Flair, and then Hogan joining the NWO.
Yep. And then,
yeah, I mean, that's their SummerSlam, and then I guess Super Brawl would be what, like their Survivor Series, or I guess
closer to the Rumble, but
yeah, probably more Rumble. Although it's weird, they had their WrestleMania. Well, I guess chronologically speaking, Royal Rumble, and then the next year at the end you go to their WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Which you would think, I guess that would make sense. You'd want to close out your year with your biggest show. But
One would think, but I mean,
although
that's why all the video games used to have. You start out in April,
yeah,
and build up the whole year to WrestleMania.
yeah. I mean, I know WWE probably does their fiscal calendar ending at WrestleMania.
Probably.
Like I would assume if their business model goes April to March.
Yeah, I would think so
Yeah.
because that is their big event.
Yeah, like that's how they close out their year. That's how they do all their I'm sure all their reviews, all their raises, all their releases come right after WrestleMania.
Which usually the releases do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when they start cleaning house.
Yeah, guys who they feel like have been not carrying their weight, they get rid of. And
But I was reading on Facebook, I was tagged you in it. I think someone did the research. I think it's 22 wrestlers have been re-signed since Triple H has taken over as creative content officer.
Only 22.
Yeah.
I thought it was me.
No, it's 22
that's
already.
still a lot. I mean, you consider
Who else? Who was it?
I don't have the list in front of me, but it was 22. And some of them I'm still scratching my head about. But
yeah.
I mean,
when I think about the ones that have worked that they brought back, Bray Wyatt has been an interesting character.
Yeah.
Braun Strowman, I think, has really worked.
Yeah, Strowman's been good since he's been back.
Yeah, and the Dexter Lumis, Johnny Gargano, I like all those guys. But I don't see where they've done that much.
Yeah, they haven't done much, but I guess it is a little bit more interesting with them. It's kind of like, yeah. But like Hit Row, what have they done?
I mean, aside from the botch that Top Dollar had, and everybody making fun of him, good use of a botch by WWE,
But yeah, it's just like they don't seem to be doing much.
No.
Dakota Kai's done well, I think, since she's been brought back.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
Has Io Shirai been released, or was she just rebranded as Io Sky when
she was just rebranded because she was in NXT.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if she had. I know she hadn't been on NXT for a while, but I'd never read about her getting released.
No, she never got released. I think they were just trying to figure out when they were going to bring her up.
Mm. I want to see the one-on-one match, Io Sky versus Asuka.
Yes.
Oh, Sky versus Asuka.
I'm hoping we get that.
Yeah, I hope so too. Of course, if we're talking about Royal Rumbles, I have to talk about the great work by one of my absolute favorites from the women's division, and not just because she's very good looking, Liv Morgan. She is I have not seen anybody work harder to get better than she has over the last few years. Every year, every time I see her out there, her match is better than her previous match.
Yeah, she's really, really
just
put the time
constantly improving,
and has really worked her butt off to get better and better and better. And I kind of hope she wins the Elimination Chamber match.
I do too. I really hope she does too. And I would love to see Liv Morgan versus Bianca Belair.
Oh, me too.
WrestleMania.
Me too, because who's in it? It's Nikki Cross, Raquel, Asuka, Liv. And then they're going to have that fatal four-way for the 5th, and then who knows what they're going to do at the 6th.
Right. I wonder, do you think maybe the 6th is Ronda Rousey?
I don't know. Could be.
Yeah.
What, Bailey?
Well, I think Bailey and Becky, I think they're going to continue this feud.
Yeah, they're gonna have. Well, they got their cage match on Raw.
Right.
How about Shayna?
Could be Shayna.
It could be Shayna. That could, yeah.
Oh yeah, do you know how Nia Jax came back?
Wait, I
Yeah.
don't know what they're going to do with Nia. I don't know if that was just a one-off or.
Yeah, I didn't see her on Raw. I don't know if she's going to be part of SmackDown. I guess we'll know better on Friday night whether or not Nia's at all like back or if that was a one-off.
Right.
I had heard that they were going to try to do a bunch of one-offs, and then just nobody really materialized.
Yeah. I mean,
the Chelsea Green stuff kind of looks funny, but
yeah, they're going to make her into a Karen. It looks like, which would be good. I think we need that.
I think it'll be an entertaining role.
Yeah, I think with all the world's seen in the past 2 years, 3 years, and all these Karens, and we've labeled them that, I think it'll be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely think that's a good character, and not enough is done as far as like heels willing to get real heel heat.
Yeah.
Like too many times, like they want to be like the badass heel. Like stop it. Like you got to be willing to get that good cheap heel heat. Like Baron Corbin is a great heel because he's willing to get the cheap heat.
Yeah.
And it's not all just making fun of the local sports teams and but like it's willing to do those underhanded things that doesn't have that like hint of badassness to it.
Right. Like when Baron Corbin was feuding with Roman years ago, the dog food, that was hilarious.
Yeah.
Like he'll do anything to get the heat. And
that was perfect.
And I think they do lack that with a lot of the heels now.
They really do. I know, like Roman, I feel like he's kind of teetered in between being just that like badass as opposed to just being a heel.
Yeah.
Like, granted, he's been willing to make sure that he wins in an underhanded fashion, but like for the most part, he dominates a lot of matches.
Right. And I think it's because they made him so strong looking.
Right.
And now it'll be interesting to see what they're going to do the next 2 pay-per-views because he's usually not in 3 pay-per-views in a row.
No, and this would be 3 in a row if he's at the Chamber, and then of course he's gonna be at WrestleMania. Like you gotta have him there. They
already announced he's at WrestleMania, so
yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what they're gonna do.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Like I said, I wonder like which directions they could go in a few of these, and obviously we're gonna find out over the next few weeks. I liked your idea of Sammy and Jay against Jimmy and Solo.
Right.
Or you could easily I wouldn't be opposed to going the route of the Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens versus the Usos.
No.
I think that match could easily be like you could explain the Jay walking out very easily if you want to like put him back firmly in the bloodline. Like I feel like that wouldn't be very hard. I'm wondering if I'm having any reception issues here. Okay.
I don't know. You got a little chopped up there.
Okay.
Talking about Jay leaving the bloodline, and then everything got a little wonked.
Maybe that was Roman getting in the way of that, wanting to make sure to block that conversation.
It could have been Paul Heyman running interference.
Yeah, Paul always watches the show. That's where we're at. I can just call him Paul.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I could see that easily being explained away. Him walking out on the end there, the pay-per-view, of him just being frustrated, and
then he comes back, or I could see it where he comes out in Elimination Chamber, calls Sammy the match.
Yeah,
Woods comes down, makes the save.
Mm-hmm.
Then Owens and Sami get the huge hometown roar and clear the house.
Yeah, and it sets up the tag team title match at WrestleMania.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's quite a few options here.
Yeah, I mean, heck, you could have Kevin Owens come out like to make the save wearing like a Montreal Canadiens jersey or something.
Right. Yeah, because Owens and Sami are both from Montreal, so
Yeah.
it's going to be the hometown. So it'll be interesting. That's going to be one absolute loud pop when Sami Zayn walks out in Montreal.
Oh, yeah. When they play the Sami Zayn music, that crowd is going to go bonkers.
Yes. And Sean was saying he's going to go back to his old music, right?
I hope he does.
You hope.
I said I can't wait till he goes back to his old music. Oh, let's go. Like that
Yeah.
song.
I think he just might.
I think Friday night we're going to hear it again.
I wonder. I really think that what they should do is have something like Sami come out and give like this heartfelt like promo where he comes out and talks about like how he really cared about the bloodline. He really, he gave them of his soul and all those things. And then it's like, and then it dawned on him as Roman's yelling at him that it was all true. They're really using him, and the second he's not useful to them, they're gonna cut him off.
Yep.
And so he nailed Roman, and now he wants to go after Roman for the title, and he's going to do it in Montreal Elimination Chamber.
Oh, that's going to be fantastic.
I wonder if like it could be if they'll do two separate promos, or if they'll have like a Sami Roman like face to face where like the bloodline comes out to interrupt Sami in his heartfelt moment.
I wonder what they're going to do.
Yeah, I feel like there's a couple different ways they could do it. One could be like Sami lays down the challenge at the beginning of the night and says, how it's like I'm gonna get my comeuppance, I'm gonna get my pound of flesh at Elimination Chamber, and then like later on in the night, Roman comes out and accepts, or they could have Roman come out and like just be up in his face and say, things like, "Oh, you broke my heart. I looked at you like a member of my family," and
Right.
I feel like it could easily go either way.
It's got to be one of the SmackDowns I'm looking forward to the most in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Just the storyline has been magnificent. It's just, and the way they ended the show Saturday night, it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, like you said, very highly anticipated. I feel like they need to, if they do it in two separate promos like that, I feel like you need to start with Sami's at the beginning of the night and end with the bloodline.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose you could go the other way. I mean, you could start with the bloodline and then Sami comes out at the end of the night and addresses the crowd.
But so many SmackDowns have opened with the bloodline. I wonder if they're going to open with them.
Yeah, and especially a lot recently.
Yeah. It seems like almost every opening segment on SmackDown is the bloodline and the Isle of Relevancy. And they go on and on and on.
Goes on and on.
And the thing is, like, what you're building for, like this time is not a match for that evening. Like you're not going to have Sami versus Solo or Sami versus Jimmy on SmackDown this week. At least I don't think you should.
No.
Like, in fact, I think it should just be promos between the two of them from now until Elimination Chamber. Like I don't think Sami should have to work at all in the ring.
I think they're going to have him go against Jimmy one time in between. Mm-hmm. I think that's what they're going to do.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's not to say they couldn't obviously have Sami versus Jimmy, but I don't think they need to.
I don't think they need to either. I think it's time for just let the promos build it.
Yeah, I think this is one of those stories where the talking sells the match.
Yes. And that's the thing. An Elimination Chamber, they really don't need any other matches but this match.
Yeah, we have
PLE on one match.
Yeah. Yeah, this is Roman and Sami. You have the two other chamber matches, and what else do you need? I mean, I don't know. Do you want to have a women's tag match or something? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe they have Damage Control go against I don't know who.
Yeah, right?
Women's tag match. Yeah, they could do one of them maybe.
Shayna Baszler, Jax would be good.
They could do a maybe Gunther Sheamus for the Intercontinental title.
That would be good. I would enjoy that.
Yeah, or Gunther Drew, like because they were kind of building up for Gunther against one of those two.
Yeah, well, they had the Gunther and Drew matches, in September at the Clash of the Castle. And it did seem like if you watched some of the Raw New Year's, that it seemed like Drew was building up towards a run at Gunther in the Intercontinental title.
Yeah, when they were the year-end one.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said he wanted Gunther, so it could already had Gunther against Sheamus, so maybe Gunther against Drew.
Yeah, I think that'd be great especially for Elimination Chamber. I think that'd be a great match to have.
Yeah, and really can have those four matches, maybe a fifth one, but I wouldn't add much more to it.
No, I don't think you need to. I think they should go look at NXT like this Saturday at Vengeance Day. Like it is like what do we got? 4 or 5 matches, all title matches.
You've got Braun against Grayson in a cage. Grayson Waller. NXT. You've got Roxanne Perez, who did a magnificent job at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Both members of Toxic Attraction.
Mm-hmm.
You got the 4-way tag match for the titles.
Mm-hmm.
New Day. You have the women's tag match.
Mm-hmm.
You have you have Wesley against Dijakovic for the North American. So that's 5, and then the 6th match is the only non-title match. It really is going to figure out who's the next challenger between Apollo and Carmelo.
And Carmelo, yeah. Carmelo, yeah. The 2 out of 3 falls match, yeah.
Yep.
Which I think could steal the show.
I really think it could with those two.
I mean, is there really a match in recent memory that there's been a more obvious winner? Carmelo Hayes has to beat Apollo Crews in the 2 out of 3 falls match. Yep. And then we will have Carmelo Hayes versus Braun Breaker for the NXT Championship at Stand and Deliver WrestleMania weekend.
Yep. And then finally, we'll have Carmelo win the title, I think.
Yes, I think so too.
And I think then it's time for Braun to come up.
I agree. Yeah. I agree with all of it.
Yeah. Now, the thing is, where do you put Braun?
That's interesting. Yeah, I don't really know where he'd best fit. I mean, obviously, you can get more done in a 3-hour broadcast. So that means Monday Night Raw could work for him.
Yeah. And my thing is, finally, Raw, it seemed like the past couple months, Raw really didn't have that oomph in it that you wanted to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And it was amazing how in one night it all came back. because of one person opens the show with a promo, and it makes you say, "That's the guy we want to follow."
Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
That guy, he definitely inherited his father's gift to talk.
He really did. He really did. And just the way he could put those promos on and really just get everyone behind him, it's amazing.
Like, and just right from the start, like when he comes out and it's, so what do we want to talk about?
Yeah.
It's like right away, it's like, okay, I'm already hooked.
Yeah. It's like he addresses everybody and just says, "What do you want to talk about?" And see, I was kind of afraid with Cody winning it and how hot Sami is, it might take away from Cody. But
I don't
the
feel
moment
like
Cody came out, it was just like it didn't take away at all. People just, as soon as he came out, everyone went nuts.
Well, and I feel like what people are starting to realize is we can multitask here. Like we can have more than one top guy here.
Yeah.
And, you know, like it's funny. Like the having, you know, the more the like we have Cody at the top. You know, he's going to be challenging Roman. You have Sami. He's still going to have an important angle. Like everybody's still doing something here. It's going to be a 2-night show. Let's not get so caught up in who has to challenge for the title.
Exactly. I mean, it's going to be 2 nights, and I think it's going to shape to be one of the best WrestleManias we've seen in a while.
And that's saying something, considering I thought last year really delivered well.
It did.
I thought it was a really good show.
I think last year was an amazing show, but I think this year we're sitting on something that's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, I really think so too. And I just hope it all culminates in next year's WrestleMania in Philadelphia, which have they announced what the actual date is for that one?
Yeah, I think I want to say it's the 6th and 7th.
Okay.
Of 2024.
Okay. Because I want to make sure to put, I have like an event thing on my phone where I can just plug it and it will give me the countdown, like days, hours, and minutes and seconds countdown. And I want to put that in and just be like, I'm going to this. Like, this is happening. Like,
this is going to happen.
Yeah.
Mania Philly.
Yeah, and that's probably what I'm going to label the event, Mania Philly.
Yeah. I mean, they've already done the logo. They've done all that. It's here.
Have they released the hoodies yet for that? Or
I don't know.
I want to get one of those because I want to have one because I know like it's in April, so it's probably going to be a chilly night.
It will be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I learned that the hard way. I was sitting there. My wife goes, "Where's your jacket?" I'm just like, I don't have one. And it was cold. So I had to run and we still have it, the 29 hoodie.
Mm-hmm.
And it says I was there on it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It says you were there?
I think so. I think it says I was there.
Yeah, I have the I was there t-shirt from 35.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I spent like I know I told the story last week of going in and meeting Johnny Gargano in the big merchandise area. I definitely spent more money than I should have in that shop.
It happens. It happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My buddy who's there with me, he's like, Eric, I'll do my best to rein you in, but you got to try to rein me in too. I'm like, okay. He walks away for a second. When he comes back, I had 3 shirts in my hands. He was like, Eric.
You got to watch.
Yeah, just like I told you, keep an eye on me.
Yeah.
Like with this stuff.
Yeah. And see, my problem is I'm going to have a little sidekick with me.
Oh, boy. he'll be encouraging you to spend that money.
He'll be like, I want this, I want this.
Yeah.
I'll take everything that's there, please.
See, already. I'll take everything that's there, please.
I mean, he did say please.
He did say please. I had to give him credit. He did say
Are you kidding? I'm going to be the same guy. Don't leave me and Sean together.
No.
There'll be nothing left.
No. And then Friday, last Friday,
Mm-hmm.
one of my best friends called me up. He said, can Sean come outside and pick up? He got himself and Sean matching John Cena shirts
Oh, cool.
of the 2008 Hustle, Loyalty, Respect that he wore to win the Rumble.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so that's another one who I'm going to have to watch out for. He's already saying WrestleMania is coming. So he's...
Well, we all have to get our seats together because we all have to sit at the, we all have to be together down there. Yeah, I can't wait. I'm already beyond psyched for that.
Philadelphia?
Yes, in Philadelphia. Yes.
We're definitely going no matter what.
We are going, yes.
No matter what.
No matter what.
No matter what.
No matter what. I'm actually half tempted. There's a house show in Trenton in March.
This March?
This March. I'm half tempted. It's a Saturday night. I'm half tempted so he can sit through his first event because he's never been to a live wrestling.
Oh, that's smart.
Because it's going to be challenging, the Manias.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's 2 long nights, man. It's going to be long.
Why? I can stay up to as long as I want.
No, I'm saying it's going to be long sitting in the chair. And
if I'm watching someone if I'm watching a professional wrestler, no.
Okay.
Look, it's a challenge for me to sit here in my comfortable recliner, which is as comfortable as they come, and watch an entire show without inevitably going, where'd my phone go? Inevitably going, looking on Facebook, looking on this, looking on that. Like, I can only imagine what it's like for you, bro.
Now, he, Saturday night during the Women's Rumble, he was getting a little antsy, hopping all over the place. And
yeah.
He was wrestling blankets at one point.
What? It's fun.
Now, mind you, he's got 6 wrestling buddies he could go get in this room.
Sure.
Yes. Including my originals, he still has.
But there's only one. One was the weighted blanket that was heavy.
Oh, yeah, we have a weighted blanket, so he wrestled that. So that was more fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
But yeah, he could wrestle the Road Warriors, or I think he has the Rock and the Hardys.
Nice.
One of them.
Matt Hardy. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think
AJ Styles and someone else. Yeah.
So yeah, there were plenty of options, but the thing is, it's like when you're there, like you really you don't want to be bouncing around on people. That's how
Yeah.
Because we're all kind of packed in like sardines.
Yep.
Especially down at the Wells Fargo Center.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to NXT, the NXT show, the Stand and Deliver. That's why I wonder if you'll be able to really do the Stand and Deliver and then Mania Night 1. You might want to just do Night 1.
I might just do Night 1.
Yeah.
Not Night 2?
No.
We're saying, not Stand and Deliver.
Right, because
But
the
what's
NXT show is going to be like Saturday afternoon.
What is Stand and Deliver?
NXT.
Oh, then I'm not popular.
Right. And then it's WrestleMania Night 1.
Right. Then my plan is to go to NXT, Stand and Deliver, and basically go right from
there.
Right there to walk across the street to Lincoln Financial Field.
Yeah.
And
I would like to do
WrestleMania.
both, but that would be too much.
Especially if you're looking at the Super Card the night before.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, I think I'd rather do Supercard Friday. And then
Super Card Friday, night 1, and then night 2 on Sunday. Yeah.
I think that might be the best bet.
No Raw Monday?
Oh, yeah, Raw Monday. Yeah, I guess.
Well, obviously, yeah.
That's the craziest Raw of the year.
Yeah, I've never been to one of those. Even when we went to the WrestleMania, we drove home on Monday.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, I've never been to a Raw after Mania.
I went to, gosh, I'm trying to think of the last Monday Night Raw I went to. Man, it might have been when, whatchamacallit, when The Rock came back after being suspended during the Invasion angle. Ooh, it was 20 years ago.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I mean,
let me see here.
for a long time, I didn't really know a lot of people who were that into wrestling, and like, I didn't want to go by myself. Like, I still loved it, but nobody else really that I knew was all that into it. Like,
yeah. I was lucky I had people who would go. So,
yeah.
Like me?
Yes. And then some of my friends.
But you never told.
Well, Raw's tough because it's Monday night and you have school the next day.
Okay. Do you think I can?
You should care. You have school.
I don't
You
care.
should,
But that's why we'll do the house show in March for you to see how we'll go to Trenton.
Why?
For your first WWE event.
I want it to be WrestleMania.
But I think you should go to a house show first.
Once you do a house show, then you're gonna see how, like, you'll see what we mean. Well, you really have to sit in your seat and watch the show. You can't just, like the bouncing around and stuff like that. Like, I mean, look, I get it. I was a kid once. Like last week, I had a tough time sitting still, but like,
no, yeah, this way you could go see how it is. Because there's two options. There's Battleground, but I don't know if that's kid friendly.
right.
No. It's another promotion, Battleground Championship Wrestling. Or then WWE's coming to town, coming to Trenton. I forget. I saw an ad pop up because Cody's going to be there. So an ad popped up. So.
Well, Cody's going to be at the open house?
Yeah, at the house show.
Yeah, can you take me there?
Sure.
Who else is going to be there?
I don't know. We'll have to figure that out.
You'll see you'll see when you get there, bud.
Yeah.
But I remember, it's funny. My dad took me to a few house shows, and he took me to a Monday Nitro. Gosh, I'm trying to think of what happened at that Nitro. I think it was like Luger and Scott Hall wrestled each other.
Okay.
It was God, what would that have been? 97?
Yeah. At the Spectrum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was at the Spectrum. It was my dad drove me and my one friend down like the 30, 40 minutes down to the city, dropped us off. And, we got our tickets, went into the show, like sat there for the 3 hours. And when the show was over, he was down there with like 20 minutes left in the show and picked us up. Like, it was just such a cool move by my dad, who was just like, yeah, I definitely don't want to go to the show, but I'll drive you guys. And
that was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember thinking, I'm just like, when he told me, he's like, I'll do that. I'm like, Dad, come on. Like, that's a lot of driving for like, I think it might have only been a 2-hour show then.
It might have been. 90s.
Basically, he drove like the entire time Nitro was on the air.
Yeah, he probably stayed down there somewhere.
Yeah, I would imagine so. He would probably got something to eat or something.
Yeah, probably got a cheesesteak and then swung
Yeah.
out some gotchas.
And man, I remember I got up and went to school the next day, no issue. Like,
Yeah. And I remember in high school going to quite a few Raws and Nitros, and
I went to a lot of ECW shows, a lot of ECW in Downingtown on the Friday nights.
okay, yeah, I went to a couple ECWs here and there,
Mhm.
and then where else was it big? I remember because graduated in '99,
Yeah,
going to
New York
quite a
after.
few Thunders, especially my
Mhm.
freshman year in college. Thunder was in Philly like 2 or 3 times that year.
Yeah.
So we, a couple guys and I would go down.
You and your friends.
Yeah, and that was terrible at that point, 2000 WCW. But
Oh God, WCW was such a train wreck then. Do you remember the Nitro that they had in Philly? Where like not only did they pack the Wells Fargo Center, well, the Core State Center or whatever it was called then, but they also packed the Spectrum with people that were just watching it on the big screen. It was like it was some I think it might have been like basically a rematch from the original Outsiders versus Team WCW. I think it was Sting, Luger, and Savage against Hogan and the Outsiders in a 6-man tag.
I was there.
Okay, you were at that one?
I was at that one.
Nice.
Yeah, that was at the Spectrum.
Okay.
Because Nitro always ran in the Spectrum.
Okay. Okay. So it was
Um,
never at the Wells Fargo Center.
I believe to this day there might be an exclusive contract with the Wells Fargo Center and WWE
Okay.
because there has never been any other wrestling event since '96 to run in the Wells Fargo Center.
Yeah, they might have. It might be like MSG's contract they had.
I think it is because I've never in all these years remember really the only companies that could have ran there would be WCW,
Right.
AEW, and in their heyday TNA, and
Yeah.
none of them did. I think they
Mm-mm.
have a contract with Wells Fargo Center.
I know TNA and AEW have run out of the Leah course a few times.
Yes, and WCW always ran the Spectrum.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
But did they do that whole like have like a? I thought I had heard that they did like they had a crowd at I guess at the Wells Fargo Center
they might have
that
had
was
fans
just
there
watching.
just
Okay.
watching. Yeah, but no, I think I remember being in the Spectrum for that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Because yeah, that was I remember that one being like, oh man, like I really wanted to go to that one.
Yeah, that one was good.
Yeah.
A couple of the Nitros were better than I thought than a couple of the Raws in Philly.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the Raws that I it was funny. It was the 2003, May 2003. It was the week before I graduated. St. Joe's, we
Mhm.
called it quote unquote senior week. Monday Night Raw happened to be in Philly that Monday.
No, well, that's perfect. Yeah.
In between our finals and our graduating, and that was also Freddie Blassie's last time ever on TV.
Oh wow.
They brought him out. They were calling him a dinosaur, and I think Stephanie might have cut a promo against him. A couple months later, not even. I think he passed.
Oh wow.
Yeah, Or wait,
Well,
no,
yeah,
that
I remember the one. Well, the one I went to in Philly, which was the last Raw that I went to, which is crazy to me. I went to a SmackDown with my wife. Gosh, a few years ago,
okay.
when Daniel Bryan had jumped. Well, he was with the Wyatts. His
Okay.
one TV show that he was with, that he was actually a part of the Wyatt family.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I was at that show in Philly.
Nice. Actually, I think the 03, I was there for Blassie's last appearance, but now thinking about it, timeline, I think 03 was the last Road Warrior tag team match.
Okay.
So, and that was on Raw, and I was there for that.
I remember Blassie showing up right before that big fight that they had going into the invasion
Yeah.
and giving that big heartfelt speech
That was
to,
awesome.
yeah, and standing up out of his wheelchair. And
Yeah. His book was a good read.
I haven't read that one. I've read just about every other wrestler's book that I could find. I haven't gotten Blassie's yet.
I think I have it still. I had to check. I might have donated, but I probably still have it. That one was good.
What?
Okay.
The Freddie Blassie book.
I've read just about every one of, I think all three of Mick Foley's books.
Okay. The one I wish I got when I had the opportunity, because it's stupid amounts of money now, is Gary Hart's book.
Really? Oh, wow. Yeah.
If you look on Amazon and type in Gary Hart book, I want to say it's around 1,000.
Wow.
Sean, go get my phone. I just want to bring it up. My phone's over on that table there.
Yeah, I'm jumping on now to see if I can find.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Of course, my phone, anytime I try to look for anything on Amazon, it's like I have to go through 3 times of it saying the app doesn't work.
Of course.
Right, before I can actually search for anything.
Yeah, it was. Oh, this charger doesn't work right. Thought I had it on charge.
Right.
Gary Hart book wrestling. Playboy Gary Hart My Life.
1,300.
$1,300.
Good Lord. Why would anybody pay that much for a book?
Phone died. Yeah, $1,300 now.
That's crazy.
I'm really hoping. Sometimes I get good luck with like when we do flea markets. I'm hoping one day someone who sells books doesn't realize what they have, and we can pick it up for like $10.
Yeah, right. And
Yeah.
you know what you do? You read it and you sell that sum right away.
Right.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You can decide on anything you want.
Right. $1,300 for a book. Because I think it was like really short printed, and then he died right when the book came out, and it's just a collector's item now.
How
Yeah.
the universe?
I don't even know.
I wonder if I've never tried to look to see if I could sell like my Chris Benoit DVD.
I think there's still a market for that.
Okay.
Because see, I did something foolish with the wrestling DVDs. I sold a bunch of mine when the network came out.
Yeah.
I should have kept. I had the Self-Destruction of the Ultimate Warrior.
Oh, I still have that one too.
I think that's still. I think used copies are around $30 now. 30 to 40. Wow. Yeah, people still want that one because it's a hit piece. So.
Yeah, it's so. Man, it's so blatantly disrespectful too. Like.
Right. And then they made up, and
yeah.
then after he died, they put out a classy one of him.
Yeah, which was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And I think they were probably going to do that anyway, even if Ultimate Warrior hadn't died, like because they had made peace, like, and they put him in the Hall of Fame, and it was.
They made peace, and I mean they have the Warrior Award at the Hall of Fame every year now.
Yeah. Which, by the way, is not what they originally, like, what the Ultimate Warrior was originally talking about. He wanted it to honor, like, a backstage person or, like, somebody who works off camera.
Right. And they've done that a couple times.
Yeah. Yeah. What's her name? The one that was, like, a CEO or not a CEO, but what's that?
Who worked in backstage for a long time. What was her name?
Yeah.
Jill, maybe, or
Yeah. Like,
John Cena inducted her.
right.
Yeah.
And, like, apparently the whole locker room loved her. And
Right. Yeah, no, I remember Cena gave a speech for her at the Hall of Fame.
which I still think that they need to have a physical Hall of Fame.
I still do, too.
Yeah, where we could go and visit and why they don't do tours of WWE headquarters? Like that blows my mind.
I don't know. One of my good friends is in the radio business in Connecticut, and he's gotten. He's been into their studio, like their storage area for their warehouse. One time he sent me a picture. He was just standing next to the Raw roulette wheel.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Just to say he was there. That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, could you imagine? Like, I often thought, I'm like, man, it'd be so cool. Like, back before they had the network and everything, I thought, man, how cool would it be if you got to, like, spend one night in, like, their video library and just put on any match from any point in time?
Wow. That would be fun.
Right? Like, and you could just be like, oh, Raw from 99. Let's put this on. Like, from May of 99. Like, a random event, like a random show, and just be able to say, oh, let's put this one on.
Yeah, see, I kind of had a problem. I think I discussed this. I had every Raw from 96, 97 until 2011 on videotape.
Oh, wow.
I literally taped every one for years.
That's amazing.
WrestleMania? Well, I mean, you said Raw, right?
I had every Raw from that time frame. I also had every Impact TNA pay-per-view from which they got, not the Asylum years. I had a few of them.
Okay.
But from when they started with Victory Road 2004, their monthlies, I had everyone from 2004 till Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff came
in. So from 04 to 2000, what was that, 10?
10, yeah. I got everyone in their pay-per-views. I had everything. So I had a huge collection, but of course with videotape, not there. So I still have a lot on DVD.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm actually looking right now at my bookcase that I have all of my wrestling DVDs like in, and I keep thinking, I'm like, I feel like I should have more. Right. But the VHS collection that held like at one point I had like an entire wall that was all bookshelves and every VHS, like, and they were all like, I mean, packed to the brim, like from the first minute of the tape to the last minute, and it runs out and starts to rewind again.
Wow. And that's how,
like, yeah.
I had so many, and then I got to check. I still think I have the Best of the WWF volumes 1 to 20 on DVD.
Oh wow.
Because I went through and copied all my old Coliseum home videos on the disc.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. Every now and then I'll think, "Oh man, what's this old tape that I used to have? Let me see if I can find it on Peacock." And inevitably, within a couple of minutes, I find it.
Yeah. I mean, they've done a
Event, and I was wondering if you would know this event. And it's something they had it on the network briefly before SummerSlam. I want to say it was the last SummerSlam before they switched over to Peacock.
Okay.
And it was the event was from '93, and so it's like in the summer. It was before they called it, I think, Summer Slam Fest, and there was this absolute banger of a match between the Steiners and I want to say it was Money Inc.
Okay.
Inside a cage.
It was a
Oh.
USA Network
Yes.
SummerSlam Spectacular.
That's it. Yes.
USA Network, they did it before WrestleMania and usually before SummerSlam. A week before they would have an event to hype up the pay-per-view.
Because I remember they kicked off the show with Yokozuna and Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Yep.
And of course, Yokozuna squashed him.
Yep. And was that the cage match where Rick Steiner got out first?
Yes.
And held IRS on his
shoulders
until Scott escaped.
Scott Steiner got off. Yeah.
And then they retained the tag titles that way.
Yes.
Yes.
It was, oh my God. You don't understand what you just did. Like, you acknowledged something that happened in my life that, like, I could talk to 1,000 people and no one even remembers or knows that this event existed.
Yes. They existed. They did them a couple years, mid-90s.
Yeah.
The SummerSlam Spectacular and then the Road to WrestleMania, they called it.
One, I want to say, was it 94? Did they call it like Saturday Night Slam or something? And I remember Luger took on Crush. And like that was their big payoff of the Luger Crush rivalry that had started when Crush cost Luger a spot in King of the Ring.
Yep. Yeah, they did one of those things, I remember. Because I believe SummerSlam 94
it was Luger and Tatanka.
Is when Tatanka turned.
Right. And do you remember in that same show they like did like this call-in portion, and Vince McMahon's on like listening to people call in and like asking questions, and somebody called in and basically spoiled that whole angle and said, I don't think Luger sold out. I think Tatanka sold out. Yes. And the look on Vince McMahon's face of, oh shit, like, dump this call.
Right. End it now, please. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was, and I remember when it happened, right away I thought, I'm like, wow, that's a good call by that guy.
Yeah. And it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember, like, right away, I think, like, as soon as that happened in the show, right away thinking back to that guy who called into that show. And it was like, awesome. Damn, that's why Vince McMahon looked like, oh, shit, dump the call.
Right, like, get him off.
And I think that was, like, the last call of the night, too. I don't think they went back to the phones at all the rest of the night after that.
I don't think so, after that.
It's like, this dude just gave away one of our big storylines. You got to get him off.
Yeah, and I mean that was a big storyline at that time.
It was, and you know, it's such a shame, like what happened with Luger. I wonder if it's just he didn't appreciate like all the big breaks he was getting.
I wonder,
because apparently, like, like they were full speed ahead. Like in 1993, like they were going to have Luger beat Yokozuna at SummerSlam and take the title. Like that was the plan. They were going that route, and he was going to be the conquering American hero, and he was going to carry it through to 94. And the reason they changed it was partially because of how he handled being on the Lex Express.
Yeah.
He absolutely hated the bus, the whole thing. He hated it.
Yeah. And the champion has to love it.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be doing it.
And it's like they were basically like I mean, they had plans to continue the Lex Express like throughout then the fall.
Yeah.
And like that was going to be their big thing. Like they were probably going to take it to Mania.
Yeah, they probably would have.
And like it was like they had this moment where it was like, dude, he's not the guy.
No. It's sad, but some guys, I guess, just don't really appreciate it.
Yeah, and I mean, he had the rocket pack put on him, and he was going to go to the moon.
Yeah,
as poor Cameron Grimes would say.
If he would have just let it be, he would have.
Yeah, if he honestly, if he had just not said a thing, never complained, and just showed up and worked every day,
yeah,
he would have been world champion
for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Like they wanted Luger to be the next Hogan.
Yeah. He had the look, he had the charisma.
Yeah.
I mean, the one that they really dropped the ball on, as they've documented, was Tom McGee.
Well, yeah.
But Luger was proven already in WCW. He could have done it, but I don't get it.
Yeah. And then they ended up going back to Old Faithful Bret Hart.
Yep.
And figured, you know what, Bret will carry it for a while. And then they had their, when Vince saw Diesel actually work in the ring, he saw dollar signs.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was just, I forget it. My wife and I were watching, it might have been that show, This Is Awesome, the new Peacock show.
Yeah.
They were doing one about Royal Rumble, and they started talking about the 95 Rumble with Shawn Michaels. And I remember turning to my wife and saying, it's a shame 95 was such a horrible year for wrestling.
Oh, it was. It was so bad.
It was so, so bad. And both companies at the time were horrible.
I'll be honest. Like, that was one of those times where they almost lost me.
Yeah. It was
like tough. Now I feel like I'm so invested in it that like it would have to just be an absolute dumpster fire for a decade for me to lose interest.
Yeah.
But like, man, 95, like, so I had been I've told you I watched WrestleMania 1 and I kind of went back and forth with it. I'd watch it every now and then and usually check back in right around WrestleMania time.
Yeah.
And because that was always, football season ended at that point in late January. It's when the Royal Rumble happened and then WrestleMania.
Right.
And so like 95 when the Royal Rumble happened and, Shawn Michaels wins from the number one entrant. And I always thought, I'm like, man, if you're going to have somebody win from the number one entrant, shouldn't it be a babyface? Somebody who like the fans would be excited to see do that.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't think it'd be somebody who you're sitting there saying, oh my God, eliminate them.
Yeah. And the other thing about that's kind of forgotten about now is how much shorter that Rumble was than all the other
ones. 30 seconds. Yeah.
It was 30 seconds. So they were just cranking them out.
A Rumble was only 30 seconds.
Well, 30 seconds between entrance.
Right. It was 2 minutes. Then they like that.
Or was it just a minute? Was maybe it was a minute? Maybe it wasn't 30 seconds.
No, it was 30 seconds, that one. Because if you look at the timestamps, I think Shawn won the Rumble in like 37 to 40 minutes.
Yeah, I know it was really short.
Yeah, it was the shortest Rumble ever.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, now they don't really like to go below 90 seconds, which I can appreciate that. Like,
yeah, it gives you enough time. It gives you the build up. And
yeah,
then,
and it's like you can work on something with you and the other guy. Now, I know what they don't like is like if they have somebody get eliminated and the guy just stands there.
yeah,
Like, and I know I hate that as a fan of it. Like, when they did that with Diesel and then Stone Cold a couple times.
Well, they did do that with Bray Wyatt, I think.
Brock
Yeah,
Lesnar.
they did that with Bray Wyatt. They did that with CM Punk.
Yep.
Although CM Punk's was kind of entertaining because he grabbed the microphone and preached to us during.
Yeah, he was preaching to us. No, I think the best was the Austin one, though.
Yeah, when he would sit up there and act like he was looking at at the counter.
And then all of a sudden, Bret Hart comes out. And
Right.
then it was Here It Comes. And that was awesome.
And Steve really did a great job of selling that one, too.
Oh,
and he had to sell that. And,
that face was just like, uh-oh.
oh, boy, we've been going at this for an hour and a half. I didn't even realize. See, this is what I was hoping for when we started doing this was we'd get off on these tangents. I haven't even talked about the road to WrestleMania yet. I only got through WrestleMania 15. I was supposed to get through, I think, 16.
Right.
So I still got to get through one more along with my 3 for next week.
Right.
Which, boy, this takes forever.
It does. That's a lot of manias.
And I did figure like this would probably be the last time I ever do like the complete road to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
If probably ever.
Probably, because it's a lot.
It's so much. And like when I first started doing it, it was like I want to say the first time I sat down and said, "Oh, I want to watch every WrestleMania in succession before WrestleMania this year."
Right.
Was probably like WrestleMania 12.
Yeah.
And so like it wasn't that big a deal. And like
No, you could do
I
it.
was a kid. It was like, I didn't have that many responsibilities or anything.
Right. It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now that like I'm here and I'm like, realize how many more I've got to go.
It's like,
It feels like a chore. And
Yeah.
that's what I didn't want it to be. I didn't want it to be a chore.
No. No, that's the problem when you sit down and have a timeline. It makes it a chore, especially working full time.
Right.
Yeah, it's tough.
Like I planned out my like I had it all planned out. Like today was my mom's birthday.
Okay.
And so I wanted to call and talk to my mom on her birthday. And so I got to talk to her for a couple minutes on my way home. And I figured I'll come home. I need to watch NXT and I want to watch the rest of my WrestleManias for the week.
Right.
And I got to watch NXT and then I didn't get to watch the rest of the next WrestleMania.
Right.
I didn't get to watch WrestleMania 16. And I remember thinking, I'm like, you know what? Like, this isn't supposed to be a chore. This is supposed to be something I enjoy.
Exactly.
And I know there will come a point, like when I watch 17, I'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
Wait, what's that 17?
WrestleMania 17?
Yeah.
It's the greatest WrestleMania of all time. Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock had one of the greatest bangers I've ever seen.
Yeah, 17 top to bottom.
TLC 2.
Even the gimmick of the Royal was hilarious. So,
yeah, just the whole show was fantastic.
It was.
But like, and yes, I'm excited to watch that one. I guess I'll probably watch it sometime over the weekend. This weekend, I'll have plenty of time on my hands since there's no football.
Right. Yeah. This weekend's an off weekend. So,
yeah.
It'll be easy to.
And it'll only really get broken up by Stand and Deliver, or not Stand and Deliver.
Vengeance Day.
Vengeance Day, yeah.
Yeah.
I always want to call it St. Valentine's Day Massacre, but I always know I'm wrong when I want to say that.
They did.
I think they
did bring that back one time.
Yeah.
Yeah, for NXT, but yeah. That was an awesome paper.
Yeah, Stone Cold and Vince McMahon in the cage.
Yeah. Big Show comes out and throws him through the cage.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
It was.
But all right. I think that's going to be it for us tonight. I think we rambled on enough.
I think we have.
Hold on.
So,
Let's look at. Yay, we made it to 100 Anthony.
Yes.
yes, we did.
Hour and 30 minutes.
We had a long show.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Everybody have a great night. Happy wrestling.